What's up, everybody? Sebastian, Knockouts on the Run. You guys could probably guess what this episode is going to be about based off of my thumbnail. I know we're a little up close and personal here. I don't want to show too much of where I'm at, but we got my Orlando scarf behind me with some hats. Obviously, my close friends notice, but whenever Orlando win a game, I usually put out the scarf. I know it's kind of corny, but I do it because I'm considered a super fan. My friends consider me a diehard. I like to consider myself a diehard because I am a diehard and I love this team so much. I've been a big fan since 2010, since I was a little kid. So this team means a lot to me. That's why I'm making this episode. Also, it's been a while since this channel has had any content, and that's mostly my fault because my running season is getting in the way. And I just have to do certain things that I don't have time for this. But I'm making time for it, and I'm going to push harder. Also, another big thing is I'm planning on doing more specific Orlando Magic content. I'm going to follow the team more closely, kind of focusing on, instead of NBA content, more Orlando content, since I know so much about this team. Sorry, my cat just sneezed. Since I watch every game, and I follow this team really, really closely. So we're going to talk about Orlando Magic and what to expect for the postseason. Is there hope for a first round? Is there hope to get out of the first round, or is the season over? It's pretty much what we're going to be talking about. So let's break down what's going on in the Eastern Conference right now. We're currently sitting 9th place, one game behind 6th seed. For those of you guys that don't know, in the NBA playoffs, the 1st to 6th seed automatically, they make the playoffs. 7 through 10 play the play-in tournament. So 7 plays 8. The winner of that becomes the 7th seed. The loser of that plays the winner of 9th and 10th. They play each other. The winner of that game will become the 8th seed in the playoffs. The NBA created this thing so teams stop tanking, which hasn't really worked. So NBA is now looking at other streams, other paths to stop tanking. I don't think you'll ever stop, tanking in all other pro sports, but that's just me. So let's get into this. Currently, this is the standings. I'll put it up here for a little bit. If you guys need, pause it. But this is the current standings. Orlando is 9th. The Sixers are 6th. Toronto 7th. Hornets are 8th. Magic 9th, and the Heat in 10th. As you could see, it's a game difference between, I believe, 6th through 9th, and then it's a game and a half difference between 6th and 10th. So these last 4 games are critical, guys. Critical. The beginning of the season, if you would have told me that the Magic will be in this position, I would have laughed in your face because some people predicted us to actually win the East. I predicted us to be 3rd, at least, or top 4, but injuries have kind of derailed our season, unfortunately. And if you don't know ball, you don't know this, but if you know ball, you know that a fully healthy Magic team could run with anybody in the East. And I know people will be like, you're crazy. No, I'm not. This team, fully healthy, could compete with anybody in the NBA. Not just the East, in the NBA. I truly do believe that. Real Orlando fans know that. Real NBA fans, they know that. Delusional fans and kind of casuals will be like, nah, bro, you're crazy, bro. Y'all like 9th seed. No, I'm telling you, this team fully healthy could compete. And we haven't been fully healthy. We just got Franz back after 2.5 months. We lost Anthony Black, who has been having a breakout season. We lost him during our win streak. So I'll get into all that later. So when we're looking at the standings, what do we expect for Orlando fans? Realistically, we're probably going to get the 7th seed, play a home playing game just like last year, get the 7th seed in the playoffs, and then go on to play the Boston Celtics in the first round again. Fully healthy, we could probably win more than one game. But I think for Orlando fans' sake, we're going to be first round exits again. What needs to happen after that? You need to fire Coach Mosley. I don't think this is mostly on him. It's not his fault. It truly is not his fault. But the players have kind of lost. He's lost the locker room. I think the way he handled things during our losing streak, which it's funny, we went on a 7-game win streak and then we lose 6 in a row. And I think he kind of lost the locker room during that streak because he lost games by 1 possession. I mean, we lost 4 games in that streak by 1 possession. Not to mention at home. So the fans, he's lost the fans, he's lost the players, the star players, and the ownership is losing the fans as well. We kind of want a change of ownership. We're kind of tired of this because we were projected to be a 3rd seed this year, and we have the team to do it. We have the team to go to a finals because the East is kind of wide open, but we haven't, and we haven't taken advantage of, a East conference taking a step back. We haven't taken advantage of it. The East will be even stronger next year. So this is kind of disappointing. But I'm going to go down the remaining schedules for these teams, and I'm going to kind of give my opinion of where I think we're going to end up being. So let's look at the 6th seed 76ers remaining schedule. Tonight they play the Spurs in San Antonio. Then they go to play in Houston. So that's 2 of the top 5 teams in the West. Probably going to lose that game. The Sixers have kind of been like us, hot and cold. They've had players in and out of the lineup. And like I said in my trade deadline episode, they have a weak bench, super weak bench. And when you have players out constantly, you don't have a bench to back that up. So then they go on to play in Indiana. Indiana's one of the worst teams in the league, but they do play teams hard. They have a good team. They just haven't had a good year. And then they play at home versus the Bucks to close out the year. So I see the Sixers going 2-2 in this stretch, which is not good for Orlando fans because we're about a game behind them. Would be nice to pass them, but we'll see how that shakes out. Going to my next team, Toronto. They played the Heat twice at home. And then they play the Knicks and then the Nets. Realistically, they could go 4-0 here. Toronto's a really sneaky, really good team. Defensively, one of the best defensive teams since the All-Star break. So they could go 3-1. They could go 4-0 here. And they have the tiebreaker against us, so that's not good for us at all. This is why kind of seeing us get in the 7th seed here. And then we go to the Hornets, who are also having the tiebreaker against us. The Hornets' remaining schedule is the Celtics in Boston. They go home to play Detroit, and then they go on the road to play the Knicks to close out the season. So the Hornets could go easily 0-3, which would be great for us. That would leap us up a spot in the play-in tournament. I see the Hornets going 0-3, but the Hornets are actually pretty damn good. They play great basketball, and LaMelo Ball is having the best year of his career. I know I have a lot of LaMelo Ball haters around me, but LaMelo Ball is putting up record-breaking numbers. I mean, he is generally he's putting this team on his back. Right? And this team is playing good. They're young, they're hungry, they're fearless, they have great defense, and they have the season series over us. So, and then we go to us, Orlando. Great. We are on a 2-game win streak right now. We beat, who did we beat? We beat the Pelicans last night, which we came back from 15 points down, which is something that we haven't seen Orlando do recently. When they go down, they kind of stay down. No, we actually came back, and we actually performed well. We beat the Mavericks the game before where Cooper Flag dropped 50 points, but we still won. But still, Cooper Flag is the headline of that game, which, keep in mind, Jason Kidd put him back in the game, down 24, just so he could get 50 points. That's kind of petty, but I'm not going to get into all that. The Magic's remaining schedule is tonight, we play Detroit at home without Cade Cunningham. Our home crowd is kind of getting tireless, so we don't really have a home court advantage anymore. And the Pistons are actually playing pretty good without Cade Cunningham. Timberwolves on Thursday without Anthony Edwards, or on Wednesday, I'm sorry. And then we go on Friday to play the Bulls in Chicago and then the Celtics in like Boston, which that could be a game where the Celtics rest everybody and give us a free win. I think we go 3-1 to end the season. That'll give us the 7th seed if everything goes right for us. Ideally, I would love for everybody to lose the remaining games, help us get the 6th seed, but I know that won't happen. And in the graphic I showed you, you can see the Hawks as the 5th seed, but we're 3 games behind them with 4 games left for us. And the Hawks they've gone 18-3 since the All-Star break. The Hawks are the hottest team in the NBA. They're the 5th seed for a reason. They have the tiebreaker over us. I was at the game last week on my boy AJ, where we got our ass kicked. And there was no fight in us at all. In a playoff position, meaningful game, we play like shit. And we did that twice in a row. We're versus Toronto and then versus the Hawks. So Orlando just doesn't seem like they care anymore. They don't want this coach here anymore. That's why I don't really see us doing anything in the playoffs. But fully healthy, that could be different. I think when we get Anthony Black back in the lineup, we're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Let's look at the Hawks' remaining schedule. So, like I said, we're 3 games behind. The Hawks are hot, but they have to play the Knicks at home, which the Knicks are hot and cold. They're holding on to that 4th seed. That 3rd seed. The Cavs, which they play in Cleveland, and then they turn around and play the Cavs back in Atlanta, and then they play the Heat in Miami, which the Heat are still fighting for a play-in higher position. Everybody's locked into the play-in tournament as of right now. So you got these 4 games, and you're playing all playoff caliber teams. Hawks could easily go 4-0 or 0-4 here. So that could be positive if Orlando would close out the year. We could even get the 5th seed still, right? It's not going to happen, but it could happen. So that's the remaining schedules of those. How many teams I name off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of those 6 teams, including us. So now playoff expectation, right? I think we're able to get the 7th seed. Great. Let's go play the Celtics round 1. We played them hard. We always played them hard. We match up well. Out of these 6 teams, we match up well with the Sixers. We match up well with the Raptors. And we match up well. That's it. We don't match up well with the Hawks. Or the Hornets, actually. So we match up well. I think we get a home plan game versus one of those teams. We owe Toronto one. So I would love to see Toronto first round in the play-in. And then beat them down. And then go play the Celtics. Like I said, guys, I think our season is, I don't want to be negative. I want to be optimistic. And you never know. It's the NBA any given night. And we do match up well with the Celtics. But the Celtics are really good. And they're the best coach team in the league. My expectation is we make it out the play-in. We get the 7th seed, right? We go play the Celtics. And we go to 6 games with them. And then we lose. And then we fire our coach the next day. We have the team to contend. I think we just need a new voice behind these players. It's unfortunate because I love this team too much, and I don't want to see us lose. I don't want to see us go home in the first round yet again, 3 years in a row. But is it JaMychal Mosley's fault? Yes and no. One, he hasn't had a fully healthy squad all season. And 2, you look at kind of, we are above 500. He hasn't gone below 500 since 2023 when we were still rebuilding and that was Paolo's first year. So defensively, he's a great coach. Offensively, though, we have struggled offensively to shoot the ball consistently. And then you look at the other side of it, the training staff. We have one of the worst training staffs in the world. They don't know how to take care of these players. We have 4 max contracts, right? And we have just everybody's been hurt. Everybody on this team has been hurt. 7-game win streak. Let's look at that. We didn't have Franz, and then we lost Anthony Black during that streak. Paolo was putting up MVP numbers in that streak, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, picked it up again, then fell off a little bit. And then Franz came back just now. Jamal Cain, by the way, which you guys don't even know who the hell this is. Jamal Cain, we signed him to a 2-way contract in the beginning of the season, and then we gave him a full contract because he stepped up during those injuries. Main reason why we went on that 7-game win streak is because our bench stepped up. And then Jamal Mosley changed the rotation around. He's like, oh, I'm going to bench him now. Oh, I'm going to start. He kept changing the rotation because he's inconsistent. So, yes, it's his fault, but also no, because he hasn't had a fully healthy team. And God bless him. He's probably going to get fired even if we make it out of the first round, which that's hard to believe happening at this point. But Jamal Mosley is probably going to get fired, and it's not fully his fault, but it is his fault. So, what to expect? Why this has happened? Mainly because of injuries. It's a shame because when you look at our starting five fully healthy, Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bain, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Wendell Carter Jr., which, I don't really like Wendell Carter Jr., but he has been playing well the last 2 games. We need a new center. We need to trade Jalen Suggs. I think he's just too injury prone. His contract is too big for us. We don't get the production out of him that we paid for. So I think you move on from Jalen Suggs. You make Anthony Black your pivotal point guard. I think he's spectacular. And you got Desmond Bain, which I love Desmond Bain. He's played every game this year. He's been the only healthy Magic player we've had all season. So when you look at that, yes, we're a 9th seed fighting for a playoff spot in the play-in tournament, which is a shame. It's a true shame because when you see this team play, they are really, really, really good. It's just Jamal Mosley's lost the locker room, and I think it's time for a change. And it's not his fault. It's really, it's just I think he's a system coach where he built the system, the blueprint. It's just he can't take this team beyond the expectations. Right? I think he's good enough coach to rebuild a team, make him a playoff team, but a playoff contender, he's not that guy. And I think it's time for a change. And as a big Orlando fan, I hate to see it, but it's the truth. I would hate to trade someone like Jalen Suggs. Maybe you look at trading Paolo. You don't know what this front office is going to do because this front office has been breaking hearts since '94. But to my last point is Orlando's kind of lost. They're trying to find their identity again, which completely blows my mind. But there's hope, right? There's hope because you do know, as an Orlando fan, you do know this team fully healthy is able to contend with anybody any given night because that's how good they are. Also, you look if the Magic get the 8th seed, you play Detroit first round because Detroit has locked up the first seed. Cade Cunningham is hurt. Okay, that Detroit team, which has Tobias Harris is the only player and Duncan Robinson. Those 2 players have the only 2 players that have playoff experience. Last year, Detroit made the playoffs as a 6 seed, lost in 6 games to the Knicks. So they do have a little bit of playoff experience, but they're fairly young. Right? Orlando, this team has 3 years of playoff experience now. Orlando, fully healthy, going into Detroit first round without Cade Cunningham. Hold up now. Pump the brakes. You can see a massive upset. Same with the Celtics. The Celtics lose 1 guy down the stretch here. Orlando, fully healthy. They know this team. They played them last year. Hold up now. Another upset. So there is hope. I'm being a little delusional, but there is hope. But we have to be fully healthy. And when Anthony Black comes back, it's going to take him a couple games to find himself again. And there's only 4 games left. And then the play-in tournament as well. So we could go from either we could get knocked out in the play-in, we make the playoffs, we lose in 4 or 5, push it to 6, or we shock the world, we shock ourselves, and we make it out the first round. That is the expectation we have. And there's no way of knowing what's going to happen. The Sixers fully healthy are pretty damn less scary as well. They just have to be healthy. I think Sixers don't match up well with the Celtics, so they don't want to play them in the first round. They match up well with the Pistons. The The Hawks, nobody matches up with the Hawks. The Hawks are they're a full shooting team, and if I'm a fan of the Hornets, the Magic, or the Sixers, I don't want to play the Hawks in the first round at all. The Cavs match up really well with them because the Cavs have size and they could compete with them. The Hawks don't have size, but they have lethal shooting, and Jalen Johnson is a future superstar. So I don't want to play the Hawks first round. They will beat us down. But playing the Pistons, look, I know some New York fans are going to be like, nah, bro, you're crazy. I think Magic match up well with the Knicks. So getting the 6th seed, playing the Knicks first round, us fully healthy, we match up the best versus the Knicks out of all the teams I just named off. So give us the Knicks first round. Best case scenario, we play the Knicks. We could beat the Knicks. I'm not saying we will. Don't use my words against me. But we match up really well with the Knicks. Celtics, yes and no. We do match up well with them, but not fully healthy. The Celtics will tear us apart like they did last year. But to close this video out, what to expect, or Orlando fans, best case scenario, we make it out the play-in and we get 2 weeks of Magic basketball. I'm sorry, but that's the best to expect. Don't expect anything more than that. If we don't even make it out the play-in, that's pathetic and that's super sad. And that's to blame on coaching and the whole ownership, right? There's going to be a lot of changes this offseason to look at. Trading between Suggs, Carter Jr., maybe one of our superstar players, coaching, training staff, right? You got to clean house at that point. But I think we make it out the plan. We are good enough to make it out the plan. But making out of the first round, which was the expectation before the season started, after the All-Star break, is kind of gone. And I hate saying that, but it is. It truly is gone. But you never know. It is the NBA any given night. Appreciate y'all joining in. Sorry about the lack of content. I love you guys. And go Magic, whatever's left of our season. We got to get healthy. And we got to get hot at the right time. That's the only way that this season is saved for us. I got to go train. I got to go run 8 miles now. I got a race on Saturday, so I got to get to it. Got a lot to do today, but let's go, Magic. Save our season somehow. 0.1% chance of us getting out the first round at this point, but there's a chance. And when there's a chance, you got to hope. Catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.